All right. So yeah, 3, 2, 1, and let's get started. So yeah, this is Order of Ecclesia New Game Plus Restricted, and if Lonely wants to go over like what this category is.
Yeah, so restricted is kind of a rule set we came up with where you can use any glitches you want as long as you don't enter the boss rush. If you've seen runs of this before, you know that the boss rush enables a lot of really broken glitches like hyperspeed and general memory corruption, so that's going to be banned. But anything else is fair game. And New Game Plus means Issue is going to be playing on a file where all the level 255 and max attribute points. Attribute points are a thing in this game where when you use a weapon, you gain a little bit of attribute points and it becomes stronger, and this file has entirely maxed out that, leading to very strong weapons. So what happened there was the restricted item glitch, or ticket glitch as it's more commonly called. Basically they moved their cursor and selected the ticket frame perfectly, and that allowed them to use the ticket in an instance where the game would not normally let them, which let them skip the rest of the tutorial section and move straight onto the monastery.
Yeah, and as you can see right here, with the max stats that we have, I'm basically one-shotting everything with the form of movement we're using right here, which is Rapid Espio, which this ability actually has a damage modifier on it relating to slash damage, and when you max out all your attributes in this game, Shinoa actually does triple damage at level 255 with pretty much any weapon, allowing it to one-shot literally everything, like this boss right here, and it basically just goes down in one hit because we do 3,000 damage to it. And because we're actually in the restricted category, we're actually able to skip having to descend this entire area right here and go and just use a ticket glitch to leave the monastery completely. And that saves a lot of time over having to take the warp room as glitchless would do. And another thing is that during the at the end there, I equipped 3 different pieces of equipment. I equipped the Queen of Hearts, Tower Ring, and Hangman Ring, and I think Lonely can go over like what each of those do.
Yeah, so Queen of Hearts it's an accessory that halves, I believe, the amount of hearts needed to do a glyph union, which are those basically super attacks. But in this instance, it's the lightsaber. Tower Ring, really important for a lot of Order of Ecclesia speedruns. Even New Game picks it up in some categories. It basically negates most knockback in the game, so you can get hit by enemies and just keep on moving forward. Extremely powerful concept. And then Hangman Ring is one that you normally wouldn't see. It's kind of a New Game Plus exclusive. Or it's not New Game Plus exclusive, but as far as speedruns are concerned, it's only used in New Game Plus. It cancels the landing lag, or ending lag rather, of a lot of your moves, so that can be used to speed up things.
Yeah, we're going to be seeing that a lot in this area upcoming. It's probably one of the most crucial parts about this run and most New Game Plus runs is that we want to negate like any sort of like hit stun or end lag as we possibly can for these runs, because these runs are purely movement based. So we're going to one-shot this giant skeleton right here, and basically once we enter the inner part of this, we're going to be falling down a lot because this area is a very downward area with a lot of staircases, and the Hangman Ring is going to disable any falling and lag I would face, like Lonely said. So yeah, like overall, like this category is pretty fast, because like you're pretty much ignoring every single enemy and one-shotting them, and any sort of like anything that would slow you down is being negated by your equipment. But here we have the first piece of Dominus, and if Lonely would like to explain what the Dominus pieces do.
Yeah, well, first off, there's some weird noises going on in the background. I apologize for that. What are you going to do? So yeah, the Dominus pieces are one of the hard requirements for the game currently. We need to collect all 3 of them to be able to deliver the final blow to Dracula. As far as what they actually do, they are really powerful attacks that also drain your HP. But yeah. So coming up is going to be one of the biggest skips in this run. It's going to be the Crab Ignis glitch. This is really weird. It's basically a form of memory corruption where you cast Ignis while entering the room. You know, let them focus for a second.
There you go.
Nice, well done. And you can instantly bring down the elevator and kill the crab.
And
with Ignis, it's a pretty big frame window. If you do it with Volsicare, with the sword glyph, it is frame perfect.
Yeah, and it's honestly one of the most infamous skips of this game, and the main reason why a lot of people who used to not run the any percent category of this game is because the actual like new game crab skip is a like incredibly frame perfect trick that is really difficult to do, and especially because there's a bunch of like variability in the frames of this game during that trick, so it's hard to do. But that skip right there is actually one of the reasons why I wanted to run this category, because in New Game Plus Glitchless, you have to fight that crab like normally, and it takes like a minute of you just like standing there and using the Night Skill laser to attack it. But in this category, you just skip a minute and a half of that fight, and it's also the only category that uses that skip, which I think is very cool. But yeah, coming up here, I think this would be a good time for some donations, if there are any.
Well, first, I would like to say well done to chat. We are going to see that 20-second 8th route. We got that met just a little bit ago. Thank you, everyone, so much.
Yeah.
We get to see this game beat in 20 seconds. Wow.
It's going to be crazy. And yeah, thanks everyone for meeting that. The Women's Law Center is an important organization. I'm glad we got that incentive net. That's amazing.
That is thanks to a $250 donation from El Pato del Muerte. Oops, missed the beginning of the marathon by just a few runs. You know what? That's okay, because we have a great team putting together VODs up on our YouTube channel that you can watch pretty much almost right after the run ends. They are doing incredible with that.
Nice. Yeah, I'm excited to show that off. That incentive route is really cool. But
now that that's met, we can focus a little bit more on our bid wars here. You can choose the name for our Pokemon Legends ZA protagonist, and you can also choose which Kalos starter Professor Birch is going to catch. It is time to fight. It is time for some fisticuffs in these bid wars. If you have any strong opinions, let them be known.
You can probably fire off one more. Oh, sorry?
Okay, yeah. I was going to just talk about like one thing quick here.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, so in Skeleton Cave here, there's actually a couple enemies here that we actually can't run through with the Tower Ring. And because of that, we actually have to use the Night Skill laser to get through them, like those bone pillars. And along with that, we're just doing some like precise like corner turns here. And this boss we're coming up on, actually, I'm going to purposefully be counting how many times I hear it make a noise. I think it's like 13 times, so I got it right there. Basically, I count there in order to kill it at the lowest possible position that it spawns in, and that causes its death animation to happen a lot quicker because it's lower to the ground. And here we're gonna get double jump if Lonely wants to go over how important double jump is to this run.
Yeah, so double jump really important, not only because it lets us get to higher places, but because you can dive kick out of a double jump in this game, and when you combine that with the Hangman Ring, which cancels the landing lag, it lets you go really fast, like we're gonna see right here, right off the bat.
Yeah, unfortunately, since we're underwater, we can't really see the dive kick used all that much, but we will in a couple in areas, pretty much every area after this. And actually, at the start of this area, I did a trick that is actually pretty hard to do. I did the frame perfect Rapidus activation. So basically, when like you load into an area, there's actually a frame where you're able to control Shanoa, and during that frame, you can literally do anything, such as like activating any of your glyphs, and that allows you to instantly use Rapidus Fio as you enter an area, basically. And that instead of waiting for the manual like delay upon entering a area, you can just instantly run in, and it saves a bit of time over the course of the run if you can get all of them in a row, but it's pretty hard since it's a frame perfect trick in a 60 FPS game. But Yeah, so as you can see here, we're using die pick a lot, and we're going to be using it a ton as we enter Giant's Dwelling here. So in Giant's Dwelling, there's these giant skeleton enemies here, and a lot of these enemies, most enemies get negated by the towering, or most enemies won't deal hit stun through the towering, but there's certain enemies in this game, like this giant skeleton and these cats right here, these cat ladies, they actually ignore the towering's main bonus of negating all hit stun. So we have to kill them to ensure that we don't lose any time by getting hit by them. And then this is the next boss, Goliath. And we can't actually one-shot him, so I'm going to do a trick here where I do a union and I do regular attack. Just like that. And that allows us to kill it really quickly without having to waste another union there. And because we're getting to the point of the run where we can't one-shot a lot of bosses anymore with our build. So... And then here we have the next piece of Dominus. And we just need one more to get to the end of the game. And I think this would be also another good time for a donation, like at the start here.
Yeah, we have opened up a new incentive for the Pokemon Legends ZA run, the bonus Jacinth run, or bonus Jacinth battle, I should say. If met, Professor Birch will face off against the beautiful battle connoisseur Jacinth after the rank F run. We need a total of $2,500 to get that met. Without even talking about it, we've already raised $50. Way to go, everyone. That closes at the end of Pokemon Legends ZA, so let's keep our focus on those bid wars to choose our name and to choose which Kalos starter. And a real quick $13.13 from Barracks. What is a man? An extremely short boss fight at the end of the 20 seconds ace route. Good luck, Sphere.
Thank you, Barracks. That's another Castlevania runner right there. He runs a lot of Aria of Sorrow, specifically, and like Julius runs. He's really good at those games. But yeah, Lonely, if you want to talk about the shield union I just did for those spikes.
Oh yeah, the shield union. So shield glyph union, one of the most important, it is not an attack, but if you use both shields at the same time with the glyph union, you gain about 1.5 seconds of full intangibility, which is really useful for going through enemies and spikes, especially in these later game segments where stuff starts knocking you back and just dealing a lot of damage in general. Huge dive kick here. I love that.
Yeah, the dive kick is so fun. But all right, here we go. Here's Grave Dorcas. So this fight, despite having less health, I believe, than what we normally do damage for with our union, this boss actually resists our attacks because we deal slash damage. So we still have to two-shot him right there, and that's basically like the only boss that kind of resists our attacks in this run. I think everything else is weak to it, if I recall correctly. But
weak to our neutral, yeah.
Yeah, weak to our neutral. But yeah, so now we're going to dive pick through here, and we actually have to go back to Ecclesia here after we initiate this cutscene because the story demands it. And we're actually going to be setting up what's called a bad ending skip shortly here. So basically, in this game, you have to save every single villager, but you only have to do that in the glitchless run of this game. You don't have to do that in any other category because it was found recently, like around when the Dominus collection came out, that you can completely skip the requirement to get the true ending of this game by setting off some flags with the next boss. And once we get to the next area, I think it'd be good to explain it then. But yeah, so through here, we're just dive kicking. And here's we're going to start setting up the glitch.
The swamp, real quick, is a great instance of how great the movement in this category is. You're just pogoing off everything. But yeah, it's going to be villager skip coming up. This trick's really complicated. Basically, like they said, going to be a lot of flag manipulation. First, we have to save. Good job remembering to save. I would have forgotten. First, we have to kill Albus once regularly, but because we didn't rescue any villagers, it's going to take us to the bad ending after absorbing the final Dominus glyph, but we can do a ticket glitch to get out of the bad ending. So now, if we go back to the room Albus is in, the game's gonna be in like a really weird glitch state. Yeah, I'll let that part speak for itself. As soon as they enter this room, the cutscene will start to play.
Yep.
Good.
And then we're going to ticket out, and we're going to go straight to the boss room, where we would normally fight the boss to enable true ending, but since we're locked into the bad ending right now, we're forced to use the Dominus glyphs here to initiate the bad ending on purpose. So once we do that, it's like 20 seconds long. A cutscene's gonna play of all the villagers, like just basically staring at us, and because we didn't save them. And this is basically the game telling you, hey, you gotta go back, you gotta save all these villagers in order to get the true ending. But what actually happened is, since we entered that room again, Albus's boss room, it set off a flag thinking that, because normally you're not supposed to leave that room after you get the bad ending, you're locked into it. But since we were able to leave it, the game now thinks we're locked into the good ending. So once this cutscene plays out, it's going to take me back to the title screen. And I'm going to reload my save file, and we're going to kill Albus again here. Just like that. We're going to absorb his glyph. And once we do that, since the game thinks we're in the true ending now, it's going to take us to the boss that unlocks the Dracula's castle in the true ending, Barlow, and we basically just skipped having to get every single villager in the game.
It's a huge time save, so well done. It's also pretty tricky, well, less so in New Game Plus, but you do have to do the 2 boss fights in a row, which can be a little scary.
You do. Yeah, and like no memory corruption and everything, like you have a really tight heart count there, and like health pool to work with to kill both those bosses. But alright, so here we are in Dracula's castle. We're at the tail end of the run here. So we have to collect all 3 pieces of Cerberus, and that's basically like those pieces unlock the final gate to enter the final area that has Dracula in it. So at this point, the run, it kind of loses a lot of its aspects of no memory corruption that we take, and it's more of the glitchless route now. And because there's not really many skips we can really do here that don't involve going into the boss rush mode. So yeah, so from here on out, we're just gonna try to get all 3 pieces of Cerberus as fast as possible, and using the dive kick along with Rapid Sphere just to get through it as fast as we can. So yeah, coming up here, we're actually going to have a puzzle boss called Wallman.
Ooh, nice dive kick. I love that one.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool dive kicks here. So this is Wallman. We're going to stand here, and this is a safe spot to avoid all of its attacks, and then absorb the glyph. This works on any difficulty and in any category. He's always the same no matter what. But yeah, so as we go through this next area, I think this part is a really good showcase of Hanging Man Ring too. So like this entire area is completely downward moving. And if we didn't have Hanging Man Ring equipped, we would have to deal with a lot of the end lag from falling from all these heights right here. And it really adds up in the amount of time you lose with all of end lag. So it's great that we have something to circumvent that. But yeah, as we make our way to the next boss here, I think it's also, we can fit like 2 more donations in.
Sure. $13.13 from Charlie Mander. What is a man? Well, he's not necessarily a man, but he is a boy. And that's my boy, Boys the Heracross. For those who are unaware, the Heracross that we get in ZA is a traded Pokemon, meaning we cannot change its name. However, you can change the name of our player character in our open bid war to choose our name. Trans Rights is currently in the lead at $50 with Lonket at $25, but y'all, I want to see some more donations go to the Birchler, which is currently sitting at $18.13. Professor Birch is really cool, and I think our player character should be named after her. So pick that. That's my choice. If you're looking for host choice, it's the Birchler.
All right, and cool. So as we go through this area right here, Going through these sand rooms is actually faster than going through any of the other rooms here, because like in the original DS it would cause lag, but in Dawn Selection it doesn't. And here we have Blackmore. So this fight is normally a really difficult fight in any other category. The quick kills are really difficult, but here we can just two-shot him. I missed one right there, unfortunately, but yeah. So that's Blackmore, and we're gonna be. So if we only want to talk about like what's the difference between like the glitchless route and like Redire.
Yeah, so in a new game speedrun, we would normally grab an item called Redire, which lets us fling ourselves around with magnets. Because we already have Rapidus Vio in this route, it kind of ends up not being faster to get Redire for New Game Plus. But definitely check out that new game Glitchless Run if you're interested. The Redire movement is incredibly sick.
Yeah, so, and one of the differences too is that like that puzzle we did right there with the water puzzle, normally we could just fly over that and skip it, but since we already have like our fastest movement, it doesn't really there's no reason to go and get the alternate form of flight, so we're gonna have to do that puzzle as intended. But what that results in later is that we actually have to get the intended form of flight in this game, which is Veladicus.
Yeah, one of the big like roadblocks in this game is you need a way to get up to Final Dracula, and that's one of the things that's so good about Redire is it lets you just fly up there without having to grab Veladicus.
But the cool thing about this category is that despite all that, we can do a lot of the skips most of the skips that you could do with Redire without actually needing Redire, and we're going to see that coming up pretty soon with one of the bosses and some of the movement here as well. But coming up in the mechanical tower is we're going to be doing a small little skip here. I'm going to die kick off of this Glick statue right here, and that skip's having to go around that entire left side of the room. And then we're gonna Magnus up here. Oops, I didn't mean to get it out. There we go. The movement in this area is actually pretty cool. We do a lot of dive kicking off enemies on this part and using the shield union to skip a bunch of spikes, like right here. And quickly switching to Magnus to quickly ascend. We can just double jump over these spike pits and ignore having to use Magnus here. And then another double jump here to completely make that room as quick as possible. This enemy right here actually ignores our towering, so we want to jump over him to ensure he doesn't knock us back, because when he hits you, he flings you across the room, and it's a huge time loss if that happens. And here we go, we have Death, who's also gonna get two-shot by us. And we're gonna grab the second piece of the Kustos Glyph. So we're almost done here. We just need to grab one more right after this. And we're gonna make our way to Eligor, which is probably the second most, or maybe the first most infamous boss of this game. I actually don't know which boss people dislike more. I feel like they dislike Eligor more, but I'm not 100% sure on that.
Sound off in a donation what your favorite or least favorite boss in this game is.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we'd love to hear it.
And put it towards one of our open bid wars for either the name or the Kalos starter.
But yeah, so we're gonna work our way to the Arms Depot here to get to fight Eligor. And so normally in other categories, we fly up to him and he dies in like a couple hits, right? But as I said before, we don't have that luxury of flight before Veladicus in those categories, so we have to think of a creative way to get on top of him without any sort of flight. And what that ended up doing is creating probably one of the coolest quick kills in this entire game, in my opinion. Basically, what's going to happen is I'm going to climb up the boss in a second here, like it's a Shadow of the Colossus type boss battle. We're going to climb up him, and then we're going to one-shot him by double jumping over him, and it's a really sick quick kill. But before that, we have to be wary of these giant skeletons here, because we don't want to get hit by them. They do negate our towering, and I'm actually going to save right here just to make sure I pull the trick off. Yeah, so yeah, this is Eligor. Everyone hates this fight, and we're going to try to skip him.
Yeah, So careful damage
So-
to your survive frames, and then the shield glyph union should allow us to climb him.
Yeah, so just like that, and
Nice,
he's dead.
well done.
Thank you. Yeah, so basically we intentionally get hit by him. Those iframes let us dive kick onto the knee, and then he actually his back platform actually extends in front of him a little bit. So we can double jump onto that, and what that allows us to do is from there double jump again with a shield union and let us jump over his eye and kill him right there. So now we have all 3 pieces of the Cerberus glyph, and we can head straight to Dracula. Make sure to double jump over that guy, because I've had him hit me several times in practice so far, and it jump scares me every single time there. But yeah, so we're heading to the penultimate area here, where we're going to use the 3 Cerberus glyphs to unlock the gate. And we can probably put 1 donation as we get up there.
Yep. I have a little, like, pop-up that didn't go away. $10 from Synthetic Princess 1. Let's go, Birchler! And that has put the Birchler in second place at $28.13. That is the one that I want to see win, chat. So go ahead and put your donations towards that Birchler.
Let's go. All right, so this is the final area of the game, and so normally in the glitchless category we would just fly up to Dracula, as we said, but we have to actually go and make a slight detour here to grab the wings of this game called Velaticus. So once we do that, we have pretty much everything we need to head towards Dracula and kill him in a couple hits. So this area can be kind of scary. In New Game Plus, it isn't really, but the enemies do start doing a lot of damage here, so it doesn't really matter for us, but like, if it could be possible, like, to take a bit too much damage here sometimes. Oh, also I did that wrong, oops. I messed up my menuing. Let's go, and then after this, on this. Okay, a little bit of a menuing.
Yeah, because you have everything, it can be easy to get lost in the menu sauce, so.
Yeah. But basically what I did there is I equipped 2 pieces of Dominus right there and Velaticus to make the menuing during Dracula a lot simpler. So yeah, here we're gonna fly up into Dracula right here. Ignore the save, and we're gonna equip Dominus Agony. And yeah, we're just gonna kill Dracula
like
right now.
10 seconds.
Yeah, time in like in a second right here. So we're gonna hit him 3 times and time.
GG.
GG.
Well done.
Thank you. Yeah, so that's New Game Plus restricted forward of Ecclesia. It's a really cool category, and yeah, it's just a lot of precise movement, mainly just a movement category of trying to get there as fast as possible. And yeah, I would like to just shout out Lonely for commentating over this. They've been a great help. Yeah. And also the Castlevania community for finding out all these tricks, Halgorithm especially for all they've done for this game. And yeah, that's all I have to say.
Hey, we are going to take a short break so you can get set up for the ace route. We'll be back in just one quick moment, everyone.
Sounds good.
Chat, don't forget, we also have the bid war open to choose which Kalos starter to catch. And catch is kind of not the correct word to use for it. I've played ZA, and I know these are quests to get the Pokemon to join your team. So Finnegan is in the lead right now at $38.13, and to get Finnegan to join the team is basically a fetch quest. To get Froakie to join the team, who's in second place at $25, you have to do a lot of platforming. So I want to see a nice little menus versus parkour battle here. If you are a menus gamer, put your donations towards Finnegan. If you are a parkour gamer, put your donations towards Froakie. And also, don't forget, let's try to get the Birchler into first place for Choose Our Name. And I am just waiting for a quick... Yep, I was waiting for a quick confirmation that our incentive is ready. Let's send it on back to Sphere.
So we're going to be doing the ace route for Order of Ecclesia. And before we go into it, I just want to explain a few things. So basically, this is a New Game Plus file. It's set up to where we've corrupted the memory in a sense that we can move these map pins later that allow us to basically teleport straight to the teleport straight to the final boss and one-shot him with a regular attack. So without further ado, I will show that off here. So 3, 2, 1. So starting off here, we're going to skip the first cutscene, and we're going to use the magical ticket glitch to get out of the tutorial right there. Save the game, and then we're going to restart the game using the DS's built-in restart function. And we're going to go into Boss Rush Course 1. We're going to pull up our map here, and I'm going to move this map pin to just about right here, basically. And that's going to, once we back out of that, we're going to teleport into this teleporter. It's going to take us to the village, and then we can go straight to Dracula's castle. And it gets all corrupted, but then we can just one-shot him right there, and that's the entire category.
That's time.
Yeah, that's time.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a pretty crazy.
It couldn't get any faster.
And one thing to note is that because of how this is set up and how we corrupted the memory, we're actually, if I skip the credits here, we're in Albus mode right now, which is the alternate mode of this game. And because we're in Albus mode, that skips having to get the final checks of the game to kill Dracula, basically, which is really cool. And I just want to shout out Priestess Amelia. She's one of our runners. It took her such a long time to figure out all of the setup required for this, and they did a great job in finding all this out. And it's just been crazy seeing developments on this route. But yeah, that's all I have for me.
Well, GG everyone, and great job.